In the first military coup in Central America in a quarter of a century, the Honduran military has ousted the democratically elected President Manuel Zelaya. Former Parliamentary Speaker Roberto Micheletti, who was sworn in as Zelaya's replacement Sunday, has imposed a two-day nationwide curfew. Hundreds of Zelaya supporters remain on the streets. Shots were fired at protesters near the presidential palace early Monday morning. The ousted president was forced from the presidential palace by armed soldiers early Sunday morning and flown to Costa Rica after he tried to carry out a non-binding referendum to extend his term in office. Micheletti says Zelaya was not ousted through a coup, but by a legal process. But speaking at a press conference in Costa Rica, Zelaya called it a kidnapping and vowed to return to his country as president. He explained a small group of elites and military officers were behind the coup.
Creo que es un grupo mal habido de militares, no es el ejército completo, no es la fuerza.
I think it is a group of military men, and it's not the entire army or all the armed forces. They are good soldiers who are good and capable people, who are not blinded with ambition or greed. There are some who have not been blinded by the ferocity of a small elite, which through politics and the economy have provoked this terrible event.
The military coup in Honduras and the reported arrests of the Cuban, Venezuelan, and Nicaraguan ambassadors to Honduras have been roundly condemned by the Organization of American States that held an emergency session Sunday. The Honduran representative compared the coup to what happened in Chile in 1973. The Venezuelan representative accused former Bush administration Undersecretary of State Otto Reich of complicity in the coup. Earlier in the day, the Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez warned his armed forces were on alert. President Obama, meanwhile, issued a declaration Sunday morning saying he was, quote, deeply concerned by reports from Honduras. In a statement later in the day, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said the action against the ousted Honduran president should be, quote, condemned by all. The U.S. ambassador to Honduras reaffirmed the United States only recognizes Manuel Zelaya as the president of Honduras. Well, for the latest from Honduras, we go there to Dr. Juan Almendares. He joins us on the line from the capital, Tegucigalpa. We're also joined here in our Firehouse studio by New York University professor of Latin American history, Grandin. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Let's begin with Dr. Almendares. Can you describe what is happening right now in Tegucigalpa?
Well, what we are having here is a military coup d'etat who has been persecuting and repressive action against some member of the legitimate government of President Zelaya and also popular leaders. We have almost a national strike for workers, people, students, intellectuals, and they are organized in a popular resistance front, a pacific movement against this violation of the democracy. So we want a democracy now. We want people from all over the world who can become observers, make contacts, because what we are looking right now is a really... Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you fine. We can hear you fine, Dr. Almendares.
Oh, yes. All right. All right. So what we are looking now is we are going back to repressive situation. Some of the advisors of the government have been perpetrators of torture perpetrators on the 1980s. We have a very, very strong conservative way of looking things. However, we are not only striving not only for President Zelaya, we are also striving for the rights of the people, because in this movement it's not only a person from one side of political sector. There are many sectors involved in this movement trying to restitute the constitutional rights, the human rights. We are really worried for the human rights. Some of these people think like Pinochet, and they are comparing Zelaya with Salvador Allende, and we have here in Honduras a different situation. we have a government who were doing not a referendum. They were doing just a survey, a simple survey, to ask people whether they want to have a constitutional reform. But we have an alliance between the very powerful class in this country with the militaries. And we want really actions from the Organization of States of America, from the European community, not only declaration. We want actions to contribute to the democratic beginning, because we don't really have a true democracy in this country. We have just a beginning to have some democratic principles. That's what the people are struggling. This is a very, very poor country. We are still occupied by the United States of America. We want really important solutions. Of course, we want self-determinacy, sovereignty, but also we want to have respect of human rights of the people.
What kind of information are you getting, Dr. Almendares, from television? I understand TV Channel 8 was shut down, radio stations closed, CNN and Telesur are not allowed to air news on cable.
That's true. I mean, in the beginning, they were all canceled out, all the TV channels, radio information, who are against the new situation in Honduras. And we don't have really freedom of press. We don't have access to the people who are opposing to this new situation. So there is no really access to the information, no freedom of the press, and we are really having almost a terror situation for popular leaders. We have people concentrated in front of the presidential house. And
what do you mean a terror situation, Dr. Almendares, for popular leaders?
Well, because they are calling, they are having all the time militaries coming against people demonstration, and also they are persecuting some leaders. They have to be out of the country. And also they captured the Minister of Foreign Relations, Patricia Rodas. We don't know what happened with her. So we don't have so much information, and also there is no freedom of communication. We have also a curfew, because after 9 o'clock you can be shot if you are on the street. So we have a curfew from...
You can be shot, you said? You can be shot, you said?
Well, I mean, yes, because they say we have a... I don't know if you understand, maybe I don't explain very well, it's curfew. So if you go on the street after 9 o'clock, I mean, they are not responsible if they charge you. Because they say this is for... it's like prevention of any situation. So they are threatening the human rights of the people. I am human rights activist. I really, we consider that there is a new situation on respect of human rights in Honduras.
Dr. Juan Almendares, we have to break, but we're going to come back. I want to ask you more about who you believe is behind this coup, and also talk to Greg Grandin, professor of Latin American history, author of Empire's Workshop. This is Democracy Now!, then a national broadcast exclusive with the president of Ecuador. By the way, he's in Nicaragua today, along with the president of Venezuela and, of course, Nicaragua, meeting with Zelaya, the ousted president of Honduras. Stay with us.